A father once called the police on his own daughter's graduation from the front row while the principal was speaking. That's not the wildest story in this video. That's roughly the middle. We're going through the most absurd prom and graduation complaints ever filed, and the real reason schools have the rules these parents keep losing their minds over. 1. Let's start with the holy war that quietly destroys more PTA group chats than anything else. Prom court. One mom in Ohio called the superintendent at home, demanded a recount, and accused jealous moms on the PTA of rigging the vote against her daughter. Folks, prom queen is decided by folded slips of paper in a shoebox. There is no recount form. There is no chain of custody. Her kid just didn't get the votes, and somehow that became a federal investigation in her head. 2. Same energy, different state. A dad in Indiana wrote a 14-page letter arguing that prom king should be decided by merit, not popularity. Sir, it is a popularity contest. That is the entire premise. That's like complaining the Super Bowl is decided by points. 3. And then there's the parent who tried to nominate herself. Yes, herself. A Florida mom emailed the student council insisting she be added to the prom queen ballot as a spirit candidate because she'd done more for the senior class than any of these girls. She was 46. Her daughter wasn't even running. 4. Quick, honest question for the comments. If your kid lost prom queen by 3 votes, are you the parent who lets it go or the parent who screenshots every Instagram story for evidence? Be honest. Half the people watching this video know exactly which one they'd be. 5. Dress code grievances are basically their own genre, and the volume goes up every spring. A mom in Tennessee filed a formal complaint because her daughter's gown was rejected for showing too much shoulder, while another girl's dress showed the entire back. Here's the catch. The actual rule was about length, not coverage. Mom never read the policy. The dress in question was re-worn to the after-party with 0 issue. 6. Now flip it. A dad in Arkansas complained his daughter's prom dress was too modest compared to her classmates and demanded the school enforce a stricter dress code so she wouldn't feel left out. Translation: he wanted the school to make other girls cover up so his kid could feel less covered. The principal hung up that meeting in record time. 7. Real industry detail, because parents get this one wrong every spring. Dress code calls at school dances are almost always made by a female administrator on staff. Assistant principal, dean of students, sometimes the activities director. Most districts set it up that way deliberately. It cuts down on awkwardness for the student, and frankly, it cuts down on viral videos. Parents screaming sexism on prom night usually have no clue who actually pulled their kid aside. It wasn't a man behind a desk. It was probably the same woman who ran their daughter's homeroom in 10th grade. 8. A New Jersey mom tried to get the entire prom theme canceled. The theme was A Night in Paris. Her objection? Her family had negative experiences in France. Decorations were already glittered. The Eiffel Tower cutout was already up. Her daughter went anyway and posted Eiffel Tower selfies all night. Mom found out from Facebook. 9. Cap decoration complaints. Every single year, parents lose their minds when schools say no glitter, no rhinestones, no LED lights, no painted messages on top. And the honest reason most districts have that rule isn't safety theater. It's that the moment one cap carries a message, every cap becomes a billboard. Political slogans, sponsorships, personal grievances aimed straight at the local news camera. Schools that allow decorations almost all switched to a pre-approval system after exactly one bad ceremony made the regional headlines. That's the real answer. It's not about your kid's glitter. It's about the parent 2 rows back who's been waiting all year to make a statement. 10. A grandmother in Pennsylvania filed a grievance because her grandson's diploma was printed in the wrong font. She wanted it redone in the font of her own diploma from the early 60s. Ma'am, fonts have changed. So have telephones. So has the country. Diploma fonts are not a generational heirloom. 11. Here's something that catches parents off guard every year. The name on the diploma matches the name on the official transcript, and that's the name the announcer reads. If your kid wrote Mike on their senior form instead of Michael, that's what gets called. So when mom screams that the announcer said it wrong, 9 times out of 10 her own child filled out the card. She just never asked. 12. A Texas dad showed up to graduation rehearsal carrying a tape measure, not a metaphor. An actual yellow construction tape measure. He measured the gap between his son's chair and the next chair, then filed a written complaint that the seating was designed to humiliate larger students. Every chair was identical. The kid was fine. Dad was the only person in that family who actually needed extra room. 13. Quick one. A mom in Maine called the school nurse the morning of graduation to ask if she could get her son a doctor's note excusing him from the standing portions of the ceremony. He was 18. He was healthy. He was annoyed. 14. Tickets per family. This is universal, and it's where reason goes to die. Most schools allot 4 to 6 graduation tickets per student because venues have fire codes, and fire codes are the one thing administrators truly cannot bend. In Arizona, Dad once threatened to sue the district because his extended family of 42 couldn't all attend. The fire marshal would have personally fined the school per body over the limit. Lawsuit went absolutely nowhere. 15. And here's the part that genuinely surprises people. Schools don't keep extra tickets in a drawer somewhere. The number of tickets printed equals the number of seats the venue legally allows. When you ask the principal for just 2 more, you're asking them to seat humans on the floor of a building they don't own. 16. A dad in Ohio filed a noise complaint against his own daughter's graduation. From the front row, while the principal was speaking. Officers arrived to a public school ceremony with a city permit in daylight, surrounded by cheering families, and left in under a minute. Dad later told a local reporter the speeches were longer than advertised. His daughter, reportedly, has not spoken to him since. 17. Now be real with me for a second. If your father called the cops on your graduation, would you ever recover from that? Would you sit at the same Thanksgiving table? I'm asking because the comment section is going to fight about this one, and I want to read it. Drop your verdict. 18. Photography rules exist for a reason most parents never hear. Schools hire one professional because that photographer signs a contract guaranteeing every kid in that class gets a usable shot. When parents storm the stage with phones, they block the angle. Someone else's child loses their only official picture of the biggest day of their teenage life. That's why ushers stop the chargers. And that's why those ushers get screamed at every June. 19. One mom in California filed a complaint that the graduation venue had inadequate Wi-Fi for live streaming. She wanted the entire ceremony delayed until the school upgraded the building's internet. Small problem. The venue was a public park. Outdoors. There was no building. There was no Wi-Fi to upgrade. There were trees. 20. A Colorado mom tried to ban her daughter's ex-boyfriend from prom. She emailed the principal, the superintendent, the school board, and the district attorney. The boy had a paid ticket, a clean record, and a relationship with her daughter that had lasted 3 weeks during sophomore year. The school's final response, paraphrased, "He's coming. Please leave the legal department alone for the rest of the school year." 21. Limo complaints deserve their own folder. An Illinois mom called the actual police because her son's prom limo was 4 minutes late. She filed a formal report, named the company, and demanded an investigation into fraudulent transportation services. The limo arrived. The kids had a great night. The report sat in a drawer for 6 months before an officer closed it with one line, "No crime committed." 22. A Nevada dad tried to sue over a graduation cap that didn't fit properly, claiming emotional damages from looking silly in photos. Caps come in 2 sizes. They're designed to sit loose. That's been the standard since the 1800s. The rental fee, by the way, was $12. He posted on Facebook that justice had been served. 23. Honor cord drama is its own ecosystem. A mom in Virginia wrote a 5-page letter arguing her son deserved a gold cord because he would have made honors if not for one teacher's bias. His GPA was a 2.9. The cutoff was a 3.5. She wanted the school to round up, not by a tenth, by 6/10, and include a written apology from the teacher. Math apparently is also bias. 24. Then there's the parent who graded a stranger's speech. A Massachusetts mom got hold of the valedictorian's draft, marked it up in red pen like she was grading homework, and mailed it back to the principal with suggested improvements. The valedictorian wasn't her kid. Her kid wasn't in the top 10. She just had opinions, a printer, and apparently no hobbies. 25. And to close out the first stretch, my personal favorite. A father in Georgia called the school the night before prom to complain his daughter's date was too short for the photos and demanded the school assign her a different escort. The school explained gently that they do not in fact issue prom dates. He escalated to the school board. That month's agenda included budget cuts, textbook approvals, and one parent grievance the secretary reportedly filed under the height complaint. Tell me which meeting you'd rather attend. 26. Now we shift gears completely. Because the worst prom and graduation complaints don't come from parents who got told no. They come from parents who insist on inserting themselves into every step of the ceremony itself. The rehearsals, the speeches, the seating, the walking order, the lighting. Once you start collecting these stories, you realize a lot of moms and dads weren't actually attending their kids' graduation that day. They were attending their own. 27. A mom in Connecticut showed up to graduation rehearsal and tried to walk the stage herself. Not as a joke, not for a photo. She wanted to test the lighting because her son had complained the rehearsal lights were harsh on his complexion. Staff politely walked her off. That same afternoon, she filed a written complaint claiming she'd been manhandled by school security. There were no security guards on site. It was a 58-year-old vice principal in a cardigan who, by all accounts, said, "Ma'am, please," and gestured at the exit. 28. Valedictorian speeches bring out a very specific breed of parent. One Michigan dad demanded the school provide him a copy of the valedictorian speech a week early for content review. His kid wasn't the valedictorian. He had no role at the ceremony. He just wanted oversight. The school said no repeatedly. He showed up early on graduation day and tried to corner the speaker backstage. Staff intercepted him before he got within 10 feet. The valedictorian, by all accounts, never even noticed. 29. Be honest with me here. If you were giving the valedictorian speech and some other kid's dad cornered you backstage to review your content, what do you actually do? Cry? Call your own mom? Read the speech anyway and add a whole new paragraph specifically about him? I genuinely want to know. Drop your answer below and I'll read the best ones in the next video. 30. Seating charts at graduation are basically a hostage negotiation in slow motion. A mom in North Carolina filed a written complaint because her assigned row was too far from the stage. She'd been placed in row 12. There were 18 rows total. She wanted row 1. Row 1 was reserved for grandparents and guests with mobility needs. She argued she qualified because, and I am quoting directly from the complaint, "This whole situation is giving me anxiety." The principal did not accept generalized anxiety as a mobility accommodation. 31. Then there's the dad who arrived 2 hours early with 3 laminated reserved for the Walker family signs and taped them across the entire front row. Public school, folding chairs, first come, first served. Staff peeled the signs off. He filed a complaint. He went on a local Facebook group calling the district communist. He became briefly a regional meme. His daughter has since quietly changed her last name on Instagram. 32. Industry truth most parents never hear. The honorary front row simply does not exist at the vast majority of public school graduations. Those front rows are reserved for grandparents and guests with documented mobility needs. Period. So when a parent demands front row because they're the most important guest of the day, what they're literally asking is for the school to relocate someone in a wheelchair so mom can have a better selfie angle. Schools fight that one to the death. And honestly, they absolutely should. 33. A dad in Oregon hired his own professional photographer to follow his daughter, and only his daughter, for the entire ceremony. The photographer set up a tripod in the center aisle. The school's official photographer, the one actually under contract with the district, couldn't get a clean angle on any other graduate. When asked to move, the hired guy said he was under contract. He was, just not with the school. The tripod got removed. Dad filed 3 separate complaints by Monday morning. Not one of them mentioned that roughly 200 other families lost their official photos because of his stunt. 34. Parents giving unscheduled speeches at graduation happens way more often than you'd guess. One mom in Alabama walked straight up to the podium mid-program, microphone hot, and started thanking her daughter's teachers by name. She got through 2 before the principal cut the mic. She later posted on Facebook that the school had silenced a mother's love. The internal incident report described it as preventing an unscheduled hostile takeover of the program. Both descriptions are, in their own way, technically accurate. 35. Reception cake. Yes, cake. A mom in Wisconsin filed a formal complaint that the graduation reception cake was the wrong shade of blue. The school colors were navy and gold. The cake was navy. She wanted royal blue. She had ordered the cake herself, from a bakery the school had never spoken to, without telling a single person at the school. The school had absolutely nothing to do with that cake. She filed the complaint anyway, against the school, for failure to enforce color standards. 36. Corsage and boutonniere drama is its own little subgenre. A dad in South Carolina threatened legal action because the florist used the wrong shade of pink on his daughter's corsage. The florist was a local business the school had loosely recommended, not contracted with. He sued the florist in small claims court. He lost. Then he tried to sue the school for making the recommendation in the first place. He lost that one too. Some men, friends, just want to watch the world wilt. 37. A parent in Texas demanded to walk across the stage alongside her son during the diploma handoff because he had social anxiety. Here's the part most people miss. The accommodations office had already approved a quiet entrance and an early seat assignment. That was the documented, signed-off, agreed-to plan. Mom showed up day of and tried to walk anyway. Staff redirected her, calmly. She filed a discrimination complaint within the hour. The accommodation she had technically requested in writing was already being followed. The school had every signature on file to prove it. 38. This one genuinely lives in my head. A dad in Kansas filed a formal grievance because the announcer mispronounced his last name when his son crossed the stage. The last name was, I'm not making this up, Smith. He insisted it was pronounced Smythe, with a long I, and that the school had disrespected 3 generations of family heritage. The school produced the written pronunciation card from their files, submitted by his own son. In the kid's own handwriting, it said, Smith, like the regular one. 39. Quick punch. A mom in Iowa filed a complaint that her daughter's graduation lasted too long. It ran 48 minutes. There were 260 graduates. That's roughly 11 seconds per kid. Apparently still too generous. 40. And then we have the alphabet wars. Schools call graduates alphabetically because it's the one system that doesn't favor anyone in particular. Try telling that to the dad in Missouri whose son's last name started with W. He filed a written complaint arguing that Z students get the loudest applause because everyone's just relieved it's almost over. He demanded reverse alphabetical order, retroactively, plus a guarantee for next year's ceremony. The school did not, in fact, restructure its entire program around his son's emotional climax. 41. Now we move into after-prom territory. And friends, this is where the complaints stop being charming and start sounding like hostage notes. Because once the actual dance ends and parents lose direct line of sight on their kid, a switch flips. Suddenly, the school is responsible for hotel bookings it never made, parties it never approved, and group chats it never asked to be in. The complaints get longer. The accusations get wilder. And the email threads, get truly biblical in length. 42. A mom in New York filed a written grievance against her daughter's high school because an after-prom party was held at a hotel without proper supervision. The party was thrown by another family at a hotel, 40 miles from school grounds, on a weekend. The school had no involvement, no advertisement, no awareness. She wanted the principal fired anyway. Her exact wording was that he failed to control private events occurring outside his jurisdiction. That is, word for word, the definition of jurisdiction. 43. Quick one. A dad in Virginia called the school district to complain that his son's after-prom hotel room smelled like teenagers. Sir, it contained 6 of them. 44. Group chats. The silent killer. One mom in California got added to a parent's after-prom planning chat, immediately disagreed with the chosen venue, and within 48 hours had filed a complaint with the school accusing other moms of coordinated exclusion tactics. The chat had 11 people. She'd been added on day 1. She'd been in the room the whole time. The complaint went into a folder labeled, and I am not exaggerating, Ongoing PTA matters. That folder reportedly weighs more than most laptops. 45. Be honest in the comments. Have you ever been in a parent group chat that didn't go nuclear by week 2? Because I'm starting to think they don't exist. If you've survived one in peace, drop "I made it out" below. I want to see the survivors gather. 46. A dad in Pennsylvania filed a formal complaint with the police, the school, and the hotel after his son was served water from a pitcher that other kids had touched. His son didn't get sick. His son didn't ask for a different pitcher. His son didn't even mention it. Dad found out from a photo on Instagram 3 days later. The complaint was 12 pages long. 12. About a pitcher of water at an after-party the school didn't host. 47. Real industry detail here, because this one matters. Hotels that host post-prom events almost always require a parent or hired chaperone's signature on the room block. That signature makes that adult financially liable for damages. So when parents demand the school take responsibility for after-prom shenanigans, the contract literally has another adult's name on it. Usually, it's the very parent doing the complaining. Hotels keep those signatures on file for years. Karma is a clipboard. 48. One Oklahoma mom called the police on her own son's prom night because he didn't text back within 30 minutes. Officers actually did a welfare check. They found the kid at a Denny's, eating pancakes with 5 friends, phone on the table, on silent. He was 16. He was fine. He was eating bacon. The officer reportedly told her, with great patience, that being a teenager is not a crime in the state of Oklahoma. 49. And while we're on the subject of cops on prom night, here's the quiet part nobody mentions. Officers absolutely do welfare checks, especially in May and June, because real emergencies do happen and they take every call seriously. But every false alarm pulls a unit away from somewhere it might actually be needed. Cops keep informal counts of which parents are repeat callers. They don't say it out loud. But yeah, they remember. 50. A mom in Maryland filed a complaint that her daughter's after-prom breakfast discriminated against vegans. The breakfast was at a diner, a regular American diner. The diner had pancakes, fruit, oatmeal, hash browns, toast, and coffee. Every single one of those is vegan. She wanted the diner publicly censured by the school, which had nothing to do with the diner, which was serving vegan food to everyone. 51. Limo extensions. A dad in New Jersey demanded the school reimburse him for an extra hour his son's prom limo had to wait because the kids weren't ready to leave the dance. The school never booked the limo. The school never paid for the limo. The school never met the limo driver. He wanted $1,200 from the district anyway, as a gesture of accountability. The district's gesture, accurately summarized, was a polite no. 52. And here is the after-prom story that genuinely won the year. A Colorado mom rented an Airbnb for a sleepover, then filed a complaint against the school because the host did not properly clean the property between guests. Read that again. She rented the house. She booked the host. The school had nothing to do with any of it. When asked why she filed against the school, she wrote in actual words, "Because someone has to be held accountable, and the host won't return my texts." Justice, evidently, follows the path of least resistance. 53. Final stretch. We're entering lawsuit territory now, and this is where you really see how a single graduation ceremony can detonate a parent's entire personality. The legal threats, the HOA wars, the neighbor feuds, the certified letters with 7 exhibits attached, the kind of complaints where you read the first paragraph and think, oh no, this person has time, money, and a label maker. 54. A dad in Florida sued his son's school district because the graduation ran 23 minutes longer than the published schedule. His claim? Lost wages. He'd taken a half-day off work and felt the school stole the extra time. The case was dismissed in under a month. Court fees came out of his pocket. The lost wages he was suing over? $58. 55. HOA stories deserve their own retirement home. A homeowners association in Arizona fined a family $700 for hanging a "Congrats Graduate" banner on their own garage. The HOA cited non-permitted exterior signage. The family had hung the banner for one afternoon. The HOA president drove past, photographed it, and filed within the hour. That same president, by the way, had Christmas lights up in March. Different rules apparently apply when you're the one writing them. 56. Here's a thing about HOAs that catches almost everyone off guard. In most states, an HOA can absolutely fine you for graduation decorations, yard signs, and even balloons if their rules technically forbid them. The fines are enforceable. They can put liens on your house. So if you're hanging a banner for your kid this June, read your bylaws first. I am dead serious. The banner is not worth the lien. 57. Neighbor complaints on graduation day are a uniquely American art form. A guy in Georgia called the police 3 separate times in one afternoon because his neighbor's graduation party was too celebratory. That was the actual phrasing on the report. Too celebratory. Officers went out, found a backyard barbecue, heard a Bluetooth speaker playing at conversation volume, left, came back, left, came back. The third time, one officer reportedly told the caller, and I quote a local news interview here, "Sir, it's a graduation, please stop calling." 58. And then there's this gem. A woman in Minnesota filed a noise complaint against a high school graduation from her house, 6 blocks away, with the windows closed. 59. One certified letter to a Utah school district contained 17 exhibits. 17. Photographs of the stage layout, screenshots of the program, a hand-drawn diagram of where the parent felt her chair should have been, and a printed copy of the school's mission statement with sentences highlighted in 3 different colors. The complaint? Her chair squeaked. The exhibits, technically speaking, did not address the squeak. 60. A mom in Tennessee threatened to sue her son's school because his diploma cover was scuffed. The cover, not the diploma. The cover. She wanted a new one, an apology letter, and compensation for the emotional weight of the moment being diminished. The school replaced the cover. They cost about $4 wholesale. She framed the apology letter and posted it on Facebook with the caption, "Stand up for your kids." The kid, for the record, did not ask her to do any of this. 61. Real talk for a second. After collecting hundreds of these stories, you start to notice a pattern, and it's not really about prom or graduation at all. The dance ends in 5 hours. The ceremony ends in under an hour. But for a lot of parents, this is the last official school event of their kid's childhood. The last time the school owes them anything. And some folks handle that ending by sending one more complaint, one more letter, one more lawsuit, just to keep the connection alive a little longer. Not all of these stories are funny when you sit with them. Some are just sad. 62. And then there's this one, which closes the loop perfectly. A dad in Illinois filed a written complaint that his daughter's graduation felt rushed and impersonal. His daughter had walked, smiled, hugged the principal, and posed for 3 different photos. The ceremony ran the standard length. The complaint was 4 pages. At the very bottom, in smaller text, he'd added a single line that read, "I just wasn't ready for it to be over." Honestly, out of every complaint in this entire video, that one I get. That one I actually get. Pop quiz. If you were the principal in this video, which complaint would have made you quit the same week? Pick a number from this video and tell us why. Winners get pinned, cowards get scrolled past. Like the video so the YouTube algorithm shoves it into the inbox of someone who really needs to see themselves. Subscribe and we'll keep digging.